What's going on, guys? Welcome to Everything Always. My name's Michael Roman. Apologies to those of you at the channel who are used to these videos coming out bright and early on Friday morning. Usually we go a lot more in depth, 15 to 25 minutes, but as it may surprise some of you, I'm a real life human being who had an emergency this morning. Good news, my dog is fine, just fine. However, this video is coming out a little late, and since that's the case, and we've probably already watched a lot of the regulars, you know who I'm talking about, we're going to condense this one. We'll be back to our normal 15 to 25 minute level of depth video next week. However, at this point, I know it's all been discerned. We are, however, going to break down the most important character name drops and Easter eggs in Falcon and the Winter Soldier episode 1. So spoiler warning, if you haven't somehow watched that yet, go check it and then check back, and we will break down everything for you in this video. But first, if you could grab the subscribe button, we're still giving away a PlayStation 5 at 800,000 subscribers, which we are right around the corner from, could hit any day now, as well as Disney Plus subscriptions every Friday while the shows are live, including at the end of this video. All you have to do to be entered to win, hit that subscribe button, then leave a comment down below, and if you want, stick around to the end of the video. We'll get into all the giveaway stuff again there. So before we get the title card and the opening action sequence, which we're going to get to because man, oh man, did it feel so good. There's a really important scene that ties to the ceremony scene. Those basically bookend the beginning and end of the first act, where we get Sam's introduction and where he's at in his narrative arc. There is some important symbolism during the scene, but the major takeaway is Sam sliding the shield back into the leather case that Steve Rogers used to present it to him in the first place, and the throwback dialogue to Avengers Endgame where Steve says, "How does it feel?" and he says, "Like somebody else's." Now, we're going to touch a little bit more on this when we get to that ceremony scene, and of course, Rhodey's cameo. However, the huge takeaway is in this very moment at the beginning of the series, Falcon Sam Wilson does not feel like he is the man that shield represents, and boom, they've set up the entire arc for him in the first 30 seconds to a minute. Great writing, great scene. We now know exactly what's coming for the future of Sam Wilson. That's when we finally get the title card to hit, and if the music sounds familiar, that's because the horns and the theme are reminiscent of Captain America Winter Soldier, one of my favorite, if not my favorite MCU films, and literally the nostalgia is everywhere. Setting it with the Humvees in the desert made it feel like Iron Man 1, and then you had the return of Batroc the Leaper, the exact same villain from Winter Soldier, and Falcon has an enormous moment setting up just how badass he actually is. He has a HUD just like Iron Man, and Joaquin Torres in the next scene, which is also super important, and we're going to get to both him and that scene, even refers to it as Stark Tech, and I really liked the continued personification that's attributing human-like characteristics to inanimate objects, in this case his machine Red Wing, as an actual living object, because in the comics, his comic book origin, Red Wing would have been an actual Falcon. He's been doing this throughout the entirety of the Infinity Saga. I can't remember the exact quote, but I'm sure a lot of you will remember when he tells Black Widow to thank him and she goes, "I'm not thanking that thing." He's been doing this forever. I really like it. I don't know why it's so endearing. And again, reminiscent of Tony, how he used to talk to his machines, how he used to talk to the dummy, not just interfacing with Jarvis, but would refer to his machines as actual human beings and with feelings. That's the same sort of sentiment you're getting here. The other thing I want to mention about this opening sequence, Shades of the Winter Soldier, the body count is so high, and Marvel doesn't often do this, open with so much visceral violence. Of course, Marvel not including blood and gunshot wounds, that helps keep it PG, but the body count is just like Winter Soldier. There are so many people who get murked in this opening, and for a lot of us who just watched a way more formalistic and metaphorical show in WandaVision with very little in the way of combat until the end of the series, this was definitely a very nice and welcomed change of pace. Now, as we move into the next scene with the introduction of Joaquin Torres and setting up the villains, Flag Smashers, and their motivations, there's two important things to point out. The first of which, as I just mentioned post-prologue, there are shades of Captain America Winter Soldier, and in that spy film, there was this sort of feeling you couldn't trust anybody, you didn't know who was on whose side. That being said, if that sentiment is to follow over, there were some things that were kind of curious in the scene. The fact that he wanted to capture him speaking Arabic and put it on social media immediately sort of made you question whose side Joaquin Torres could really be on. Again, shades of Captain America Winter Soldier. However, from the comics, Joaquin Torres has always been on the side of Captain America and Falcon, and so there's a real good chance that he is who he seems to be, an ally in this case, and could go on in the future to carry the mantle of Falcon as he did in the comics, and maybe we might even get a glimpse of that in the show. However, let's not get ahead of ourselves. This show is really going to focus on, of course, Sam Wilson Falcon. They also set up now, they let you know that Valtrak the Leaper and LAF, that's just a criminal organization, as he says, trying to monetize on the chaos, and then explains that Flag Smashers is different. Their ideology wants a world without borders. He even says you could see how that could appeal to a lot of people. Now you get clear motivations and distinctions between which kind of criminal organizations are operating right now. Again, great writing and a very stark pun totally intended contrast to the show we just went through in WandaVision. So the next scene, the ceremony that he was getting dressed for right at the beginning of the show before we cut to the action sequence, that scene is meant to resonate, obviously, at the very end of the show we'll get to. He's giving up the shield and putting it in the Smithsonian, again, because as he says, he's not the man that shield represents. That's Steve Rogers, Captain America, only to have them turn around and award that shield to someone that it means even less to. So there's a lot that's heavy about this scene. However, obviously some really nice world building, having the cameo from Rhodes. Don Cheadle's there to talk to him about that exact sentiment. And I don't really feel like it's explained all that well, but we're going to get more of that. And it seems like Sam just feels like it's the right thing to do, which you can't fault him for. And maybe he has to find his way to it. That's the whole thing. We do know, though, however, and I want to point this out, that shield is going to get back to him rather fast. Because as we've seen from the trailer footage, he is practicing down in Louisiana on their home house land with the trees. We've seen him using the shield. I'm not sure how the shield gets to him, but I'm going to speculate now. Quick spoiler warning if you haven't seen some of the leaked set footage. Bucky Barnes is going to come across John Walker before Sam Wilson does. And in that exchange, not sure what's going to happen with John Walker, but he might not make it. And that's what has me thinking that there's a chance that whatever tussle that Captain America, the John Walker iteration, and Bucky Barnes come across, whatever ends up happening, my speculation is that John Walker's going to end up dying pretty early in the show. That's why he's not going to have the shield anymore. And as a matter of consequence and maybe circumstance, Bucky's going to be able to grab the shield and take it where he needs to take it, which is straight down to Falcon, so that he can practice with it while he's down in Louisiana, which we know he is there right now. So I think there is perhaps a life-ending battle in the future, and we'll see if my speculation is right. I'm just trying to put this together from what I'm seeing from the footage and then what we've seen from the trailer. But this is also super important because with the introduction of Flag Smashers, we're now starting to see more and more enhanced individuals look. During the Infinity Saga, there was always great explainers for how many enhanced individuals they were, and supervillains were often aided by tech, or, as we heard jokingly, one of the big three: aliens, androids, or wizards. But this is something different. We see Flag Smasher, the leader of, doesn't seem to be enhanced in any way other than super strength, which leads us to the idea of super soldier serum, which is something that we might started to have seen in the research files during WandaVision. However, comes into play with this John Walker. We don't know if, like the comic accurate version, he'll have super strength or has some version of the super soldier serum, or if there is some super soldier serum out there now that's accessible by civilians in order to power themselves up. A lot of people have pointed to this villain and said perhaps this is the introduction of mutants. Whatever happened with WandaVision triggered this. I don't think we're jumping into any of that yet. I think more likely the case, probably bootleg super soldier serum that, those like Thunderbolt Ross and maybe the black market have been after the entire time. Why this is important, and I know we basically skipped over the entirety of Bucky Barnes and his whole scenes in the middle there needing to make amends. If you need a quick explainer for that, the kid that he kills at the door is obviously the son of the guy he's trying to make amends with during that scene. So while he tries to capture his humanism, in some sense, he's sort of doing what is known for the 12-step program as going through and apologizing to all that you hurt while you did it. Obviously, there's some poignant stuff there, but focusing now on the villain, as I said, we were going to try to condense this video. Most importantly, there's an idea here of what it means to be a hero, the symbolism behind that, and there were some major themes touched on when Falcon gets down to his farm, how veterans are treated when they come home from combat, not being able to secure the loan, how he wants to take a picture with him and calls him a hero, but then can't help his business officially at all. There are some heavy themes here. But one of the heavier themes outside of just Falcon becoming Captain America and what that means, the idea of heroes and villains, superpowers and non-superpowered, and as up until right now, Falcon Sam Wilson is not enhanced in any way other than the tech he has, much like Iron Man. Captain America, we find out not everything special about him came out of a bottle. He was able to wield Mjolnir because he was worthy, but he was enhanced by super soldier serum. I think Falcon might find an interesting place where he can still be Captain America and be that quote-unquote super soldier without needing an enhancement to do it. And I think this show may focus on super soldier serum as it applies to the wrong hands and the right hands and what it means to be a hero with what you're born with outside of needing some enhancement like that. Which I may be getting ahead of myself, but seems to be at play in that very last scene when the same government that tells Sam he did the right thing by coming forward with the shield turns around at the end of the episode and awards it to John Walker instead. We already know where this is going and what it means, and hopefully, like I said, this is going to get resolved earlier than later. I would really like to see Falcon come into his own during this series and get to use it a little bit rather than finding it at the very end and leaving us on a cliffhanger before we get to see him in the red, white, and blue. Hopefully we'll get the reveal of that costume again by the finale. Let me know all your thoughts down below and your reactions to this first episode, how you felt or liked it in comparison to WandaVision, and if it scratched the Marvel itch in the way that I thought it would. I watched this episode a little bit earlier in the week and went, oh man, the fans are going to love this. Am I right? What do you guys think? And quickly, let's get into the giveaway stuff before I let you go. We're still giving away a PlayStation 5. We're going to ding at any day now at 800,000 subscribers, as well as Disney Plus subscriptions every Friday, including right now. Let's announce a brand new winner. Lodestone7 for this comment right here. 6 hours of these two just staring at each other. That's it. That's the whole show, man. What a fitting comment. Again, these are all chosen randomly. That's an awesome comment, man. Go ahead and DM me on Instagram at IamFires or email me on my business email. It's on the About section of my YouTube channel. We have a way of verifying the account, guys. I go ahead and subscribe to the account when they win, so please don't waste my time in messaging me saying you won if you didn't actually. It's really easy to verify. Let me get your information, Lodestone, and I'll get a Disney Plus subscription out to you. We do it in the form of Visa gift cards, more than enough to cover 1 year's full subscription, guys, and it's that easy. All you have to do to be entered to win for any of the prizes here at the channel, hit the subscribe button, then leave a comment down below because it's truly random. The more videos you comment on, the better chance you have of winning. The best way to keep up with the content, of course, is to hit the notification bell with notifications turned on. And as always, if you enjoyed today's video, hit that like button. My name's Michael Roman. You can find me over on Instagram and Twitter under IamFires. You can find me on Spotify and all other musical platforms, yep, including YouTube, under the name AllFires. Thanks so much, guys, and stick around. We'll be posting again real soon.